Now, by the way, these are what my pages look like for these answers. Not because I was expecting you to write answers like this. My answers always include more answers than you actually need. It tends to include like all the possible answers, right? But there are lots of answers for these questions. So if you ever got to these bits and I felt like either it was a time constraint or people looked at these questions and they were like, I don't know what to do. Okay. There are many answers, right? So let's start with section C. No one else is on there yet, so I'm going to wait until it loads up. That's okay. That's okay. Are your computers booting up and that kind of thing? Getting there? Steve, where's yours up to? Still booting up. That's okay. Okay, well, in that case, while we're waiting, I'll just open this up and we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Because, you know, interactive whiteboards and touchscreens and all that kind of thing are really old-fashioned. So okay, shall we give this a go? I'll start off by reading the question, give you a bit of context, because it's been a while, so let's remember. The entertainment industry is often at the forefront of technology developments, which is unsurprising since it has access to massive funds running into the tens of millions of dollars for individual productions such as video games and movies. Okay, so by the way, can you see now, I wonder if you remember, when I gave you the prologue to this exam, right? And I said, look, here's sort of what your section C, your research is going to be about. This is what will guide your research. I hope you can see the connection. It was all about, okay, look, movies, video games, all these kinds of entertainment-focused things, they drive a lot of technology. It's quite amazing how much they do. Anyway, let's go on. These huge quantities of money enable the industry to develop the best tools and also to devote massive numbers of artists and engineers to using those tools to create immersive experiences, whether it's in a movie theater or the lounge room. Okay, first question says, for part A, demonstrate ways in which the entertainment industry relies heavily upon advanced communications and database systems to generate revenue. That's just money, profits, okay? Right, let's just try and break apart the question a little bit first. Demonstrate. Now, I know that's not a very frequently used HSC keyword, but, you know, this is an open book test, so you might have even did anyone bring in a list of HSC keywords and their definitions? Aha, okay, so anyway, you're not going to get another open book test, but you really got to know them. What does demonstrate mean? Does anyone know now? I want to demonstrate. Like, what would be the difference between demonstrate ways that the entertainment industry does this versus, say, outline? If I said outline ways, what would that mean? What's the difference between outlines and demonstrates? Okay, maybe I should pose this question to you. If I asked you to outline ways to cook an egg, okay? What might you respond to me? What might you say? Okay, I might say, look, first you might want to boil it, okay? So you would describe the steps where you put the water on, and then you get the egg and so on, okay? Or I might say you could poach it, or and so on, right? Now, if I said demonstrate ways to cook an egg, okay? What's the difference? The difference between outline and demonstrate, or even describe and demonstrate, is that I'm going to show it to you by example. I'm not just going to say, look, you could do this or you could do that. I'm actually going to get an egg out and do it, right? So when it says, demonstrate ways that the entertainment industry relies heavily upon these systems, right? You've got to show those ways by examples. You've got to give examples. That's why this is in the research section, okay? So, because there are two kinds of systems that I'm after, communications and database systems, let's break it up in that way. Communications systems, we'll do that first and then we'll move on to databases, okay? Right, now, I think most people were better at this part than the second part, the databases bit, but it was still a bit of a shambles, okay? By the way, where are we up to? Are people on here yet? Yeah, we got people. Okay, so I'm not gonna draw it because I will be messy and you guys will do a better job. But let's try this. Okay, so first way, TV. Everyone mentioned TV, so that's good. But what's the actual communications technology that they're relying on? You guys know a lot about communication systems and how to describe it. What kind of communication systems is TV. What directions is it going? Is it a two-way communication? TV. It's not, right? It just goes from the network to the viewers. So it's a simplex. So now, you didn't have to say simplex, but these are the kinds of things which... is anyone get writing this down? These are the kinds of things which demonstrate that you know what kind of communication system it is. So, for instance, this is the way that I would say it. TV and also radio, right? These networks, they broadcast simplex signals. Now, think. Remember the question says, how do they generate revenue? How do they rely on these systems to generate revenue? Okay. Well, TV and radio, what do? They don't just broadcast shows, they broadcast along with the shows and in between the shows, advertisements. Thank you. And that's how they get money, right? So they broadcast simplex signals, right, that combine content and embedded advertising. Now, embedded advertising, that's not a special phrase. It's just that the advertising is embedded within the content. So if you want to watch the content, you sort of get forced to watch the advertising unless you're very vigilant and turn it off when the ads come on because you're like, I am in principle opposed to ads, right? Now, that was me outlining it, okay? They broadcast these signals that have content and they have advertising. How am I going to demonstrate that? What concrete examples could I give of TV networks that do that? Does no one watch TV and know what the networks? Thank you. Okay, 7, 9, 10, ABC. No. Well, ABC. Not, yes, SBS. Okay. What about radio networks? 104.1 Today FM, Mix 106.5. Okay, look, those are actual examples. So let's show by example. That's the difference between demonstrate and outline. Okay. Let's move on to another one. So, ooh, that's interesting. Let's do that. Okay, so number one, I said TV and radio. And I said that's kind of like free to air. Right? Now then, that's not the only kind of TV there is, right? What other kinds of TV are there? Pay TV, cable, right? So they generate revenue in different ways, okay? So cable and satellite TV, here's my second point. All the way, here we go. Okay, so number one, free to air, ooh, FTA, that'll work. Free to air TV, okay? Next one, cable or satellite TV. Now it's important that you say cable or satellite because cable and satellite are a different communication system. Are you following me? Yeah, does this make sense? Because free to air is not it's not about the freeness either. It's over the air. It's transmitted by, you've got a TV aerial on top of your TV, right? So it's freely available. Whereas cable and satellite are not freely available, right? Because you actually need technology to access it. If you're going to get cable TV, what do you need? We need two things. Satellite TV. You got to have this huge dish on top of your roof. I don't know if you've. My father-in-law has this enormous dish on top. It looks kind of silly actually, but you need that piece of technology, communication system to access it. Your cable TV, you're going to need a set-top box, right? Like Foxtel IQ or something like that. And then you're obviously going to need the cable connection that goes underneath the ground, okay, or along the telegraph poles, usually under the ground. And not every place has that, okay. So there's the actual communication system we're relying on. What are some examples? We've already mentioned Foxtel IQ. You can pick out any kind of cable TV subscription service like Bloomberg or that kind of thing. They're demonstrating by example. Okay. Okay, so cable or satellite, paid TV, in other words, right? What's another example? Okay, the internet. Everyone was like the internet, but no one gave me specific, or very few people gave me specific examples. So let me give you one. Okay. Who uses the internet to generate revenue? We'll say people like record labels or film studios. They're going to sell digital content directly to consumers, right? And the great thing about that is that you get rid of the middleman, the retail middleman, people like Sanity or HMV, right, who take their cut. Inevitably, you get your cut taken out somewhere else, like say Apple for iTunes, that kind of thing, right? They'll take a 30% cut, which is quite high. But through the internet, you can sell digital content directly to consumers. So that's how they're generating revenue, and they're relying on this communication system. Does that make sense? So you see how I'm going through the communication systems one by one, and then I'm giving you examples. So pick out a company. Warner Brothers, I don't know, Spyglass, Disney Pixar, whoever, okay? They're all selling through the internet. Okay, what else? What other kinds of systems are we missing here? This kind of internet, we could generalize that to wireless internet. More specifically, you could say things like, say, mobile coverage, right? That enables the sale of entertainment content and related apps to all these mobile devices. Now that's a whole other revenue stream on its own, right? So I've got free-to-air TV, pay TV, sort of grounded internet, and then you've got cellular data, okay? That's a whole new communication system that the media industry is relying on. Does that make sense? You see, that's a new system, and they rely on it in a different kind of way. Okay, so there's 4, right? I think I was looking for 2 or 3. What else have I got? Oh no, I've got tons more. Sorry. Okay, we've got internet. Someone else want to put down mobile internet or cellular data? Okay. Here's another one. Because the internet, it actually spawns a whole bunch of different ways of getting money. Okay. So here was an obvious one, which I was surprised no one picked up on. I don't think. Maybe one person. Online crowdfunding. Crowdfunding? What does crowdfunding mean? Crowdfunding. Yeah.
Like if you want sponsorship for any project that you want.
Yeah, it's a sponsorship system, right? So instead of, I've already got my big products and I'm a huge company, I've got hundreds of millions of dollars, right? And I can create all my content and then sell to whoever I like and distribute it, right? Crowdfunding is like, I'm a little guy, I don't have all that capital already, so I'm going to say, hey guys, do you like this idea? What do you think of this idea? What do you think of a Veronica Mars movie? Right? Which I don't know if anyone's actually looked up. Veronica Mars was a very troubled TV series, but it got funding on Kickstarter. Kickstarter, I hope you've heard of Kickstarter before. So, online crowdfunding platforms. Crowdfunding is a single word, by the way. Such as Kickstarter, and there's my specific example, so there's the demonstrate, right? They connect creators to supportive communities, right? And that facilitates the revenue transfer. It's quite direct in that way, right? Again, Kickstarter takes their cut, but still. So it's a sponsorship program, and the important thing is it creates that connection between the content creators and the communities that directly want to support them. Okay, one more under internet anyway. Gamers. That's a massive part of the entertainment industry, right? So for example, things like multiplayer games. How do they work? What systems are they relying on? More specifically than the internet, what could we say? Are there no gamers in the room? None? Sorry, say it again.
Internet service.
Yeah, that's okay. So I've got servers online. Blizzard, for instance, might run all these massive servers for their World of Warcraft stuff, that kind of thing. So you've got simulation type online games like World of Warcraft or like Call of Duty or whatever you play. Okay. But those aren't the only kinds of games online, right? What kinds of games do people play online? Come on. You're on Facebook and you get an invite for Farmville or Candy Crush. Yeah, thank you. Okay. All these kinds of games. Now, again, they're relying on communication systems, right? Does this make sense? They're using cloud or local-based communication systems to link players together. And then, how do they actually generate the money? Number 1, in-game purchases. Number 2, which tends to be for those social games like Farmville and that kind of thing because they're free, right? Or actually just to buy the game. Like Call of Duty, it's not cheap, right? So they're earning revenue that way and then supporting it with this communication system, right? Because imagine if there was no internet, who would buy Call of Duty? A few people, right? The limited scope of people who actually just want to play the single player game and just play through a campaign and they're like, I'm interested in the story. But the vast majority of players are in it because there's a communication system underneath it that lets people play together. That's why it's such a vibrant community, okay? So Call of Duty, Halo, whatever kinds of examples you wanted to pick out, you had to give some specific ones though. Okay, good. So all of these come under communication systems, right? Let's move on to databases.